Commencing Atlas System Suit Initialization.
While I'm going through this, I guess I should talk about how this really isn't the first time I've played No Man's Sky. I have played for roughly 50 hours across a couple other save files just to get my footing so that I understand the basics of how the game is played. I haven't actually progressed the story very far at all. I've really only made it to the second system, and so as a result, I'm not blind here at the beginning. I do know a little bit, just to make sure that I don't come across as, completely moronic while I'm doing this. Now, before we get into things proper, there are some considerations that I have when starting a new world. Primarily, whether or not the system's been discovered by anybody, whether or not the planets within the system have been discovered by anybody, and me personally, what the dominant life form is in the system. Okay, and this system looks good. The dominant life form is Korvax, which is what I want. The system was discovered today by me, and the only planet that's showing up right now is the one that I'm on, also discovered by me. So this means that this is an undiscovered system, which is what I'm looking for. Again, I think this is just preference. I think if you were to start a new game and it happens to be in a system that was already discovered or on a planet that was already discovered, I don't think that actually changes much. One of the big things about No Man's Sky is you can go through and rename practically anything. So it might be that if you're on a planet that was already discovered, or you find a species on your planet that was already discovered, you may not be able to rename it. I'm not 100% sure. So if that is something that appeals to you, being able to come up with the names for your planet, your system, whatever, then you may want to find an uninhabited system to be your starting point. So we are starting on the planet Uccubus XV in the system of Man Sky Yunk. That's funny. Apparently there is a Man Sky. The other things to consider when starting are what the conflict level is. I don't know exactly what it relates to, but this may have to do with Sentinel activity, as well as the economy. The economy can determine sort of like the price of various elements of things in your system, and I believe there's other factors of the game that it can affect, so that is something to keep an eye on when you start a brand new game. But for now, let's actually get started.
Radiation protection falling.
The planet that I'm on has increased radiation, so that is the hazard that I will be trying to survive against, learning how to play the game. And in order to survive from hazards, you need to be able to charge your hazard protection, which involves finding the element sodium. So right now I'm going to perform a scan to find sodium, and I can't. My scanner's broken. I need to get ferrite dust to be able to fix my scanner. So let's gather ferrite dust. Where can you get ferrite dust? If you just look at things on your screen in front of you, like this right here, it says it's unidentified mineral, but it has ferrite dust. So I'm just going to apply my mining beam to it. I should also mention that when you start the game, you're guaranteed to start on a planet that has hazards. So in my case, it was radiation, but you very well could have either toxicity or hot or cold temperatures. All of them are protected against the same way with hazard protection and require sodium, but your exact hazard may vary. Okay, so now we've got enough ferrite dust, we can repair the scanner. So let me go here, put the ferrite dust on. Okay, and now we can scan. So now I press the button, and we can see the little various elements pop up. So there's dihydrogen, we've got sodium, we've got oxygen, we've got, this is condensed carbon, so it's a slightly advanced form of carbon. But what we're looking for is going to be sodium, so let's go get that. We wind up needing a decent amount of sodium, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple extra. Let's see, yep, there's another one. When you've got something far away like this, if you want, you can just sprint over to it, but that honestly doesn't take you very quickly. What you can do instead is a technique of using your jetpack right after having used a melee attack. So I'll show you what that looks like here. Like, let's say I want to get some more sodium. So there's one that's 100 units away. You can see that when we hover it, 94, 92, 91. So all I have to do is, rather than sprint over there, if I melee and then jetpack, you see I propel myself incredibly quickly. Keep that in mind if you're trying to traverse great distances on foot. You can just melee jetpack. As you can see, though, if there's stuff in the way, it may prevent you from being able to go horizontally quickly. So try and get into a more open area if you're actively trying to get somewhere fast with the melee boost. Another thing to keep in mind is this little plant right here, the deuterium-rich plant. These plants, when you use them, will amplify your jetpack and make it so that not only does it not take any charge to use for a very short amount of time, it'll also increase the amount of propellant that you get. I'll show you here in just a second. First step to recharge my hazard, which you can do one of two ways. I just access the quick menu to do recharging, which is really fast and convenient, but you can also just go into your inventory, and you can see you can click on it and use an item to recharge it, just like that.
Starship signal detected.
So I need to be going this way, actually. But what I can do is, let me get over to this little plant guy, because I said I was going to show what it does. So as you can see, I use my jetpack down in the lower right corner. The jetpack gauge decreases as I use it. But when I pick this up, now my jetpack isn't decreasing, but it's only for a little while, so you have to be careful. Like, I'm getting really high, but now it's depleting. I gotta carefully land so I don't hurt myself. Let's see if I can find another one of those plants nearby. Excuse me, little guy. Here's another one. Let's keep going towards that signal. Oh, just like that I ran out, but here's another plant. Grab another one. Okay, and here we are. So yeah, rather than sprint that whole distance or walk that whole distance, just use the melee boost combo. Melee boost. Okay, so here are some containers that just give us items. So early game, definitely you should try accessing them. You'll get some useful items, some elements, but you'll also get junk, which secretly actually isn't junk, but we'll talk about that in a minute. You also might run across these containers that say they need an Atlas Pass in order to be able to open. We'll get access to the Atlas Pass later, but just know that sometimes you can find better items in these crates because they're locked. Let's see what this little guy is. Okay, so this is a buried technology module. This will be important once we can actually access it, but it's currently underground and I can't reach it, so we'll just have to leave that alone for now. Viscous fluids, this is also a junk item, but again, there is a use for it. We'll just hold on to it for now. As you can see, also opening this, we just got some nanites. Nanites are one of the 3 different kinds of currencies that are kept up in the top of your Exosuit menu. I guess just at the top of your menu in general. Units are like regular currency. Nanites are a special currency. And Quicksilver, I believe, is the expedition-only special currency. I don't fully know exactly what it's used for, but suffice it to say, I believe just playing the base game, I don't believe you'll be able to actually get any Quicksilver unless you're participating in the expeditions. Okay, so we've got a ship. Here's our little icon.
Scenario, iteration number 2311876661T, deleted. Boundary separation failure likely. Vessel 16 emptied. Cause, Sentinel intervention, deliberate transfer. Analysis, fresh iteration generated. Anomaly containment prepared.
Let's go ahead and broadcast.
Broadcast received. Traveler anomaly detected. Anomaly is compliant. Position logged. System integrity scan initialized.
Okay. So now we get to investigate the crashed ship, which honestly doesn't look very crashed. Just kind of looks like it's sitting here on fire.
Iteration number 2394829084924924924G. Online. Atlas connection. Intermittent. Launch thrusters. Offline. Pulse engine. Offline.
I find myself alone on a strange world, unequipped and in danger. I have no memory of how I got here, no sense of a before. But this ship at least seems to recognize me. The controls react to my touch, or at least to that of my exosuit. I am not dead yet, and the ship is a lifeline out to the stars.
Log number 4925A unavailable. Substituting data. Exosuit. Connected. Suggestion. Pilot should perform maintenance. Select desired repair path. Self-guided repair protocols. Initiated.
Okay, so in order to get this ship up and running, we need to fix the pulse engine, which requires a hermetic seal and metal plating. So let's see how we can fix the metal plating. So if you just go to your inventory, either yours or your ship's, and just click on one of the empty spots, you get this pop-up menu that shows you the different things that you can craft, or rather the things that you have the blueprints for. Like I've got the blueprint for an ion battery, but I don't have any cobalt, so I can't make it. It's not highlighted. But the metal plating just requires 50 ferrite dust, which I just barely have, so I can click it, and it makes a metal plating. Then, once you want to apply it, just like we did for the multi-tool scanner, you go to, in this case, the pulse engine, and we can apply the metal plating. See, we already beat the menu doing it. Okay, so now the metal plating is already repaired. Let's check the ship.
Iteration number 2394829084924924924G. Functional. Starship critically damaged. Vital ingredients missing. Unable to synthesize required components. Pulse engine requires hermetic seal. Recommendation. Iteration. Comparison reveals hermetic seal nearby. Salvage planetary chart from distress beacon cache.
Okay, so now we need to get a hermetic seal. And the ship says that this distress beacon should have one inside, or rather should have the directions to one. I peer inside the beacon's housing, as well as its distress broadcast unit. It contains a planetary chart. Let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, cool. We have a planetary chart. Now this is an actual item that we can use. It's like a type of, it's a map. It's cartographic data. So when you use one, like this,
Navigational data received.
it'll give us kind of a bird's eye view of the immediate area, and always in the upwards direction from however the camera orients itself will be your target. Okay, so 1,000 units away, just under, is where we need to go to get that hermetic seal. So what I'm going to do is, on the way there, I'm going to go ahead and collect some resources that I know we need. I would say that there's 4 different types of sort of basic elements that we need that we should keep on us, probably at all times. The first one is this ferrite dust that I'm collecting. It's used for a number of different blueprints. Just like being able to make the metal plating, we need ferrite dust for that. There's a bunch of different stuff that ferrite dust is useful for, so keeping this on us is sort of a priority. Another element that we've already talked about that's important is sodium. Sodium is used to recharge our hazard protection unit, so make sure that if you don't have sodium on you, that you're nearby to some to be able to access it for when you need it in a pinch.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
Like, right now, I'm probably going to need some. There is a storm that's approaching, and unfortunately, there's really only 3 things that you can do to protect yourself. That would be either finding a cave underground, going back into a ship, or going into some kind of building or structure. Since I am out in the open with no caves nearby, I'm going to have to weather the storm, which means I need to make sure I've got sodium on me to be able to keep patching up my hazard protection. Ooh, you look funky. Okay, so the other thing that I can do is I can try and get out of the storm as quickly as possible. So, let's try getting over to where we need to go faster.
Radiation protection. Falling.
Thanks to the melee boost, we can cover a lot more ground a lot quicker. Thanks to the deuterium-rich plants, we can really get there quickly. Grab some more sodium real quick. Okay, perfect. These are buildings, so I can escape from the storm by just hiding inside of them temporarily.
Radiation protection. Stabilizing.
Not only does this protect me from the outside hazards, it also recharges my hazard protection system without me needing to spend any sodium, so that's a nice plus. So let's hang out here for a minute while the storm passes. It looks like the stuff that I'm actually looking for is nearby. So what I can do is, I can just run outside real quick and grab this.
Accessing archive. 6 out of 7 logs corrupted. Entry number 4924A follows.
No one making this recording in case leaving behind
Weather update.
in the fabricator might be of some use. Visor damaged. Can't find ship.
Let's go ahead and recover the supplies. Whoever it was that led me here, whoever left this message, perhaps they found themselves in the same situation as I do now. And the storm has cleared. So we got the hermetic seal. Let's make sure to check both the buildings. These buildings that can pop up. Ooh, shit. Nifty. These buildings that can pop up when you're inside of one. Sometimes you can have components on the walls, little machines or things that you can access for items. So that building didn't have any. Let's look at this one. This one right here, we have encrypted navigation data. I'm going to pick that up. We got some nanites for that. And there's also this hollow archive, which, funny enough, this is the exact same thing that the machine outside said. I think that this is the one I was supposed to access. The one outside just happened to be here, and a quirk of the game makes it so that both of them, for this particular mission, will have the same message. So, just funny little side note. Thankfully, though, that means that I can actually get a second hermetic seal for free. Since both of them gave me a hermetic seal, I now have 2. Otherwise, this was really good. We'll talk more about that once I find some more. Oh, now that's a big ship. Okay, so now I need to locate my ship, so I'm going to use my scanner and my visor does not work. So what I need to do is I need to fix my visor. First I need to actually install the part. Then I need carbon nanotubes, which that requires carbon, which I do not have any of, it looks like. So I need to collect some carbon and then make that upgrade. Carbon is another one of the elements that's vital to the game, in my opinion. Carbon is used to charge your mining beam. Carbon is used for some of the various blueprints. So making sure that you have ferrite dust, sulfur, and carbon. And then there's a couple other elements too that are really important, like oxygen, which is used to recharge your life support system. Actually, I guess I don't need salt, I need carbon. Oh, see, so right there, my charge is depleted, so I'm gonna go charge the mining beam. It takes carbon, or it can take condensed carbon. There's a lot of these things like packed close together. I can't tell what I'm hitting and what I'm not hitting. Yeah, those are salt related ones. There's a carbon. Must be these rocks. Yeah, I keep hitting those rocks by mistake, and so I'm getting the salt instead of getting the carbon that I want. Salt I don't really have a use for this early in the game, so that's just taking up an inventory slot. But now that I've got enough carbon, I can make the nanotubes, go back to the multi-tool, and there we go. Now I've got an analysis visor. And this is actually really interesting. This spot specifically, this is a supercharged spot, which means whatever I put here gets a boost. It's very unexpected to actually see one right off the bat like this, but I'm going to move my scanner over to it, I believe. I don't really have upgrades for things to be able to put in here, but again, we can talk about that later once I actually do have more details. For now, we can use the scanner, and so I can take a look around my environment and see what there is to see. First and foremost, my starship's over there. We have these salvage canisters, which are important for the Corvette making, which I haven't really done any of yet. Knowledge stones, that's where you learn the words. We've got deposits. This one is of uranium. An abandoned crate, those are the boxes that I've been accessing on the ground. We have industrial waste, which is something I've never really touched, so I'm not fully certain what that does. Another deposit, this time copper. We've got some plant life that can be used in various blueprints or in cooking. More industrial waste. Buried technology modules. We haven't been able to get to those yet because they're buried, which, if you see this little symbol right here, that's an indication that it's going to be some level of underground. So just like these ones, the salvage containers, those are also underground. A buried cache, those ones by definition are buried, but again, it's not necessarily going to be as deep as these ones. A lot of times you can actually access the buried cache right on the surface. Let me see if I can target it. There we go. We got another knowledge stone, an unknown building in the distance. This is an indication that we've got hazardous flora nearby, which would be these things that you've been seeing with gas coming out of them. These are actually great for oxygen. So if I get just close enough, I can get the grassy pods before it pops. It covers me in toxins. And then I can also use the mining beam to get even more oxygen from them. So if you're short on oxygen, you can just look for those hazardous plants and be able to get some. Subterranean relic, that's a special item that we could potentially sell, but again, it's subterranean. I may not be able to access it. Pulpy roots, another plant. More abandoned cache. Health restorative, if you're short on health, you can get some from those locations. More knowledge stones. Damaged machinery, those are those pods that we've been seeing on the ground that give either nanites or items, so those are helpful. More deposits. More crates. That seems to be about the gist of what we have around us. A couple other things to note. If you see a red dot, that is life that we haven't scanned. But then as soon as you do scan it, it becomes that little green paw print, and it'll actually tell us details about what we scan. So like, this one is elderly, its gender is orthogonal, it collects shiny objects, its diet is fresh leaves, its size, whether or not, there's I guess specific notes about it. In this case, this one is highly fertile. And I can't keep up. And it produces craw milk, which I don't think that actually matters to us. I know there is like a creature battler sort of system that we can participate in, which I haven't done any of, so maybe that plays a factor over there. This menu actually is also really helpful when you've got your scanner up, because it tells you what planet you're on, the different weather, like radiation, resources, the fauna, the flora, whether or not sentinels are here. Sentinels are kind of these robot police of the planet. I'm sure we'll encounter some at some point, so once we get to them, I'll talk about them a little bit more. It also shows us what our protection is from the radiation and when we'll hit critical exposure, so I need to make sure I've got enough sodium to re-up my system within 1 minute and 35 seconds, otherwise I'm going to start taking damage from the planet. Which, thankfully, I've been trying to keep collecting it. I've got some sodium. Another thing, too, when you go to recharge some of your stuff, like if I were to, let's say I wanted to recharge my life support, I'm going to use 16 oxygen. I've only got 178 oxygen on me right here. So it's telling me I'm going to use 16 of the 178 that I have. This 16 also is just enough to take me from 62% up to 100, so there's no overage, there's no extra use. Like, you can't use more than what you can hold. As this declines, this cost will go higher. We can probably see that with the hazard protection. I'm currently at 92%, and it's going to take 3, but now I drop down to 90, it's going to take 4. Okay, let me actually reorganize my inventory just a little bit. I want carbon up here. Oxygen. So I've got sodium, I've got sodium nitrate, I've got carbon, I've got condensed carbon. I'd put oxygen here, but I don't have a spot to put anything here yet. Got the hermetic seals that I need. I'll move the junk down to the bottom for now. Hermetic seals I can move down there. Okay. Now, normally, what you can do is, as you maneuver through your world, you can and should be scanning everything, because like this right here is an unidentified plant, and if I scan it, like I did with the flying alien earlier, when you actually scan something, you get units for doing so. However, the units that you get are typically very small, but you can get upgrades for your scanner that give you a lot more currency for scanning things. I'm hoping that I come across one, but otherwise I'm not going to scan anything except for the fauna, primarily because as you scan the fauna, it shows up here, and if you complete all of the fauna on a planet, you can actually get a bonus of a lot of nanites. So early game, if nothing else, make sure you're scanning the fauna. Before I head back to the ship too, I want to access a couple of things. First is that buried cache, because buried caches can typically give really good items, or even like nanites. So let's see if I can reach it without needing to dig. I can. Okay, I got a fused thermal barrier. This item itself is useless, but what you can do is you can crack it open and you can get something. In this case, I got magnetized ferrite, which I actually got a decent amount of it. It's like a stronger version of ferrite dust. Oh, here's some more guys I need to scan. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Well, porcupine-looking guy. Okay. Do we have any more buried caches? Abandoned crate. I'm going to go check out this knowledge stone and also that building that's in the distance. The various buildings that you can find can have a number of beneficial things in them, so always try and make sure that if you've got a building somewhere in the distance, that you're taking full advantage of it, especially early game. Okay. Wow. Ouch. I just jumped off that. Didn't have any jetpack to catch myself. Gotta pay closer attention to that. And as you can see up in the upper left corner, I took a significant amount of damage to my shield. It takes a minute. Not a literal minute. Feels like a literal minute. But after some time,
Radiation protection falling.
it will eventually begin to recharge itself. Let me just hang out until it does that. Nice floating rock. There we go. Now it's starting to recharge. Okay, so this is like an interesting ruin that I've found. And there's some knowledge stones that are on it. Or at least the one. So let's touch it. Stone resonates, producing a sound that fills my mind. A vision begins to take shape. A robotic life form turns towards me. Light stems from their metal shell, forming a glowing fog that surrounds us both. They gesture towards me. I accept the knowledge. The name Korvax floats in my vision, an echo of the strange vision I just experienced. A word in this alien tongue is seared into my brain. Knowledge stones will impart a word of the dominant life form's language to you when you actually touch one of these knowledge stones. This is important because we will be interacting with the Korvax, since this is their system, essentially. And when we do, we only currently know one word of their language, which doesn't help us very much. We will get kind of an indication of their body language, but sometimes they'll talk to us and they need a response, or they need us to perform an action, and so the more of their words that we understand, the more likely we are to select the appropriate action or response. Let's see, here's another knowledge stone, so let's get another word. Korvax word for traveler. Traveler is an important word to know because it seems like we ourselves are considered a traveler. So I'm still not fully sure, because each race seems to refer to us differently. The Vy'keen will refer to us as interloper. Korvax may refer to us as traveler or anomaly. So it's just interesting. And here we have memories of Exosuit. Let's see what this does. An ancient marker hums at a frequency that burrows deep into my being, filling me with the voices of the Korvax echoes.
Knowledge paves the way to the understanding of probability. The Atlas spoke in fragments. The Atlas interfaces are their shadows. The monoliths are their scattered children. Together they convey the wisdom of the infinite. They must be understood.
So now I've got a couple of options here. I can either seek help with the language, where I learn another word, or I can seek knowledge of the past. The knowledge of the past will probably direct me to a ruin, which can be useful because I can find treasure there, or other valuable items. However, those sites are usually patrolled by sentinels, or at the very least they get a notification that I'm touching stuff and they don't want me to touch stuff, and since they're the police force of the universe, they're going to come and try to attack me if they detect that I'm touching their toys. So instead, I'm just going to do seek help with language. My knowledge of the Korvax convergence increases, and now I have the word for entity. Beautiful. Okay, so that takes care of the knowledge stone. That was actually really cool that we got an ancient ruin along with it this early in the game. I got a couple of words for free.
Radiation protection falling.
I'm going to take a quick look around, see if there's anything else I can do. The one bad thing about this part of the map is, for most of these icons, if I were to get that buried technology module, it would disappear after I access it. But the knowledge stones, even after you open one, the actual icon for the knowledge stone stays. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the one that we just came from to get down here. Get up here and take a look. Oh, no, we didn't access this one, see? This is what I'm talking about. I thought this was one that we had already accessed, and it wasn't. So now that I've accessed it, it's lit up, meaning I can't touch it again. But if I were to say, you know, check out this building and then run over here and over here and over here and do a big loop, I'd come back and I'd see from over there, oh, there's a knowledge stone, let's go get it. And then I run over here and I've already accessed it. It would be nice if the knowledge stone actually, like, disappeared from the scanner once you accessed it, but it is what it is. Let's see, I want to be able to scan the alien, so let me go grab that fauna. Get some more carbon. Ooh, that's interesting. That's a little guy. He actually isn't considered part of the fauna on the planet, but at the same time, he hides as though he's, you know, because that right there was one of the regular rocks. This guy looks like one of the regular rocks, but he isn't. You have to use your mining laser a bunch, so it's always good that every time you charge it and you spend the, I think it's 80 carbon to fully charge it, every time you spend the carbon that you, at the very least, get back the carbon that you spent so that you'll be able to recharge it again. So I just like to try and stay in the habit of, maintaining a lot more than just one recharge worth, but, you know, at minimum. Same thing with any of the base elements, really. It's like if it costs, I don't know how much oxygen to recharge the life support system, but every time you recharge it, you should be sure to gain enough oxygen to be able to recharge it again. Okay. Yep, there's another guy. Perfect. And if you're having trouble finding fauna or flora or minerals to scan, if you're really diving deep into that like I do, then rather than just, you know, use your scanner, with the fauna at the very least, you can go into your discoveries, click on fauna, and it shows you the ones that you found, but then it also shows you the ones that you haven't found and where you can find them. So this one, for example, is rare, it's underground, and always active. So rare means it's going to be hard to find it, underground means I need to find a cave system, and always active means it doesn't matter what time of day. Like this guy here, diurnal, so only in the daytime. Nocturnal would mean only at night. But these two are underground and always active, so it's just rare and uncommon. So I just need to find a cave system to be able to find those guys. But what that also means is I don't need to be like looking in the sky for anything. I've already found all those aliens. I don't need to be looking on the ground. I've already found all those ones. I need to be looking underground. Enough messing around. Let me head back to my ship, unless I see anything else interesting. Oh, you see right there. I've already got this knowledge stone, but it's still showing up on the scanner. Is this underground? This is underground. Okay. Oh, this is just like a... I was hoping it was... Well... Okay, let's take a look. It's a mineral.
Radiation protection stabilizing.
Yeah, okay, real underground. If you're afraid of jumping in these holes because, you know, your jetpack only propels so much, you know, don't be afraid, because the jetpack kind of works interestingly. If you stand in the middle of a room like this, you know, I want to fly out of this hole, and I start jetpacking, you can see how fast it depletes. But if you go right up to the edge, like right up to a wall, which I know is a little hard to see because it's nighttime. Let's go over to this wall because the light's reflecting on this one. If you go right up to the wall and use your jetpack, you can see it's not consuming any of my jetpack, which means I can get out of any hole no matter how deep, just because it's infinite so long as you're up against a wall. But as soon as I get up and I'm in the open, now it's consuming again. So don't worry about holes like that. You can always get out of them.
Protection falling.
Okay, I said we'd go back to the ship. Let's go back to the ship. Okay, there's a knowledge stone between me and the ship. There's a couple of them between me and the ship, so let's get those. Ooh! A mutant plant. Should go take a look at that. If it's this kind of an icon where it's got a star or 2 stars or 3 stars, that is something that may have some amount of value. So you can check those out to either get some nanites, get some units, or get some items rather that you can sell for units. The one thing to consider though is those sorts of nodes. I think I'm far enough away now, I can't see that one. Those sorts of nodes can be patrolled by sentinels, which if they see you taking their stuff, they're going to get mad about it. Let's see, where was that There's a knowledge stone nearby. Where were you? Hello? Oh, I went right. Oh, that's why I didn't see it. It's covered in gas. Oh, I believe that must have been my 5th word learned. Yep. So as you progress through the game, there's different little milestones that you can attain by completing various things. So the one that we just did is we learned 5 words. You can see I got a star for it. There's a spot for 10 stars. You can also map planets, discover systems, talk to aliens, milestones, and this is just for exploration. We've also got survival ones. We've got the list of expeditions that are out, which again, this is a new file. I haven't done any of the expeditions. I haven't done any of them regardless. You got milestones with the Gek, with the Vakeen, with the Korvax. I've already got some for Korvax. My standing with them is 1. I've learned 5 words of their language, so that helps give me standing. We've got the Merchants Guild, the Mercenaries Guild, the Explorers Guild, the Arena League, and the Outlaws. So all of these you can get in good with if you just complete their stuff.
Radiation protection falling.
Now before I was going back to the ship, I saw that star. Let me see if I can locate it again. Let's grab this buried cache. There we go. Okay, so from the buried cache, I just got a mineral record, which this can be sold for units, or if you look at the nanites, I can use the item, and I get some nanites for it. So let's do that instead. Nanites are, in a way, more valuable than units, so trying to amass a bunch of nanites is best early game. Or I guess I shouldn't say best. It depends on what your goals are. I like getting upgrades for my stuff, and I can get plenty of money other ways. So, there we go. Ooh, okay, this is really good. The mutant plant. Let me access this one first. Okay, so, the mutant plants. These, not this guy that I'm hitting. These things right here, I don't believe the Sentinels will care if I were to try and get stuff from these mutant plants, but you can see the item that it gives is radon, and that is an element that I don't know exactly what it's used for currently, and I know for a fact I don't need it for early game, so all it would wind up doing is taking up inventory spots. So I'm just going to leave these alone. But I also saw another star for an ancient data structure, which is this one over here. This one's much more important in my opinion. This one are these little red cubes right here. Give me just a second, let me get this. Oh, I can't get this out of the way. Okay. Well, one of them is like, I think inside. Yeah, it's inside of this, but we can still access it. The navigation data, let me pick one up. As you can see, it gave a special item, navigation data. This is almost like a 4th form of currency, because as you can see here, it says may be traded with a cartographer aboard a space station in exchange for usable star charts. And the star chart is like what we used towards the beginning, that we got from the distress beacon of our first ship that sent us to get the hermetic seal. So we can get a variety of different kinds of maps using this as a currency. So trying to amass these is really helpful. You can get a bunch from these navigation data points, which is helpful. You can also get them from save points. You can also get them from the little navigation data disc that we saw earlier. It gave me nanites instead of giving me one of these navigation data. But I'll show it again. I'm sure we'll run across them shortly, once I can stop lollygagging and get back to the ship. Buried mineral formation we can't access yet because it's buried. Okay, yeah, there's really nothing else in this area, so let's see if we can find one of those deuterium plants. Okay, I made it back to the ship. So now we need to repair the pulse engine. Again, this was with the hermetic seal.
Component repaired.
And, oh, okay, it looks like we also need to repair the launch thruster, which requires pure ferrite and dihydrogen jelly. So what we can do while we need to go access that is we can now use the... We could use it before when I went to originally go get the hermetic seal, but we can use the inventory space of the ship. So I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need these yet, but I think we're about to be able to use them, so I'm going to hold on to them. I don't need this other hermetic seal. Okay, so I need dihydrogen jelly. So we can get that from getting 40 dihydrogen, which I had right here. So let's take that back. I think there should be, yeah, right here is some. So let me... Do we have any more? Let's use the scanner. There's... looks like one.
Radiation protection falling.
There's a couple. Oh, here's a decent... Well... Okay, maybe it's not a decent, but here's a cave. Oh, here's the subterranean relics. So we were seeing those on the map earlier. Right here, the subterranean relic. So we can pick these up. Again, if they have a purpose, I don't know what it is for right now. Like, I mean, they're valuable. That's 23,000 units right there for just 4 of these. That's impressive. And I saw... That is one of the last... It's one of the last fauna that we needed. This guy looks freaky. Holy crap. Do you happen to have the other alien we're missing in here? No? Ooh, okay, another ancient data structure. Again, I very much want to get as many of those as possible, so I'm going to pause what I'm doing for just a moment. Ooh, this is a decent one. Sometimes these ancient data structures can spawn with like 13 of them or some insane number. So the fact that I found one with 5 is pretty nice compared to the 3 that we had before. Okay, this is another really good thing. These ancient data structures have the ability to, at the very least, give this map specifically an exosuit upgrade. So as you can see, it wants me very badly to use it because it's pulsing. When I use it, it's going to do the map thing, like the bird's eye view, and it will give me the directions to get to a pod that has hit the ground that has the ability to upgrade my exosuit, which essentially is give me one of these slots or one of these slots for my exosuit. Now, I'm not going to do it right now because I've done this in a previous file, and so I know that one of the items required to be able to get an exosuit upgrade is something I don't have access to yet. You need 3 different items. You need carbon nanotubes, which you can make from just carbon. You need sodium nitrate, which I've got a little bit of, and you also need antimatter housing, which I don't have the recipe for yet. I see something I can make with it in here, but I can't actually make antimatter housing. So it's not going to help to use this yet, but I'm definitely going to hold on to it. See if there's anything else nearby. We have some more knowledge stones. Oh, okay. Again, normally you wouldn't, if you happen to have spawned on a planet that doesn't have the ancient data structures, then you're not worried about this part. You can just, obviously fix up your ship and start your exploration. But for me, since these are just nearby, I definitely want to try grabbing these. Okay, I got 3 more. Alright, looks like we're on an ancient data structure hunt. You may also have things on your planet like this right here. This is an unidentified mineral. You can see it gives me pure ferrite, but it also says that I require the advanced mining laser to be able to mine this. I can hit it with my laser. Oh, this is just the unidentified plant. Hold on just a second. This guy right here. I can't actually mine it until I get the advanced mining laser. So that's something that I'm definitely going to want to pay attention to later. Sodium nitrate, same thing with these. I need the advanced mining laser. Oh, Here's another one that's not bad. I think there's 4 of them, 5 of them, yeah. Since this video is getting close to an hour long, I think we will call it here for episode 1. I know it's not a good, clean ending, but we covered a lot of basic elements of early game No Man's Sky and still have a lot to cover. I hope you have enjoyed it so far and look forward to episode 2 where we will begin with this observatory. I promise next episode we will see space. May your RNG be kind and the desire sensor be blind. Goodbye for now, but not for long.